Okay, I'm in here recording this. This is an addendum to a previous lesson that I did. I'm going to have to email Justin Peters to locate the video footage, but it appears that in my previous lesson, and that lesson was on lesson 4, the devil, what the Bible teaches about the devil and his work. Apparently I made an error in a statement that I made, and the statement was to do with the claims that Kenneth Copeland had said that Christ was a failure on the cross, or that Christ's work on the cross, Yeshua's work on the cross, was a failure. I got kind of confused there, and the reason why is because the material that I was quoting was material that I had reviewed about 8 or 9 months ago, and since then I have reviewed quite a lot about the prosperity preachers, but also I've been reviewing work about the Vatican as well. So I'm making this addendum, and the reason why I'm making this addendum and correction to that lesson, which will be posted up, this will be posted up onto YouTube as an addendum and correction. And the reason why I'm making this correction, it wasn't Kenneth Copeland that said that Christ's crucifixion was a failure. It actually was the Pope. The Pope had said that the crucifixion of Yeshua was a failure. But what Kenneth Copeland did say was that God was a failure. And being as it is that I've got 2 clips, one of Kenneth Copeland saying God's a failure, and the clip number 2, and they'll be put in that order. Clip number 2 showing the Pope declaring that the crucifixion was a failure. It is not surprising that those 2 would make that, and it's also not surprising that I made the confusement between the 2, primarily because Kenneth Copeland is in the pocket of the popes, and has been since he had that meeting with Tony Palmer, a Bishop of England, and a video call in which it was proclaimed that the Protestant movement was officially ended. That's what their claims were. So being as Kenneth Copeland and the Pope have made similar statements, you can obviously understand why I made the statement making a claim that it was Kenneth Copeland when in fact it was the Pope. So to make sure that you, my YouTube watchers and those people who are listening in on these lessons and taking notes, I am making this addendum for you so that I can correct an administrative statement that I made, which was in error and has now been corrected. This video is going to be linked as an addendum. There are only 5 items: the text, the front load, me, and the 2 clips by Kenneth Copeland and by the Pope. I'm thankful that I've had somebody who's watchful over this and that I'm able to make this, but I will be emailing Justin Peters because he does an excellent work on exposing prosperity preachers, and I'm pretty sure that if there is a clip in which Kenneth Copeland does say that Christ's crucifixion was, or Yeshua's crucifixion was a failure, I'm sure that if it's out there, he will find it for me. I hope you accept this apologies. It's not really an apology to Kenneth Copeland because he's still a charlatan and a snake oil merchant. Okay, so it's with that in mind that I hope that this is a satisfactory correction to a statement I made in the previous lesson. That lesson being lesson number 4, what the Bible teaches about the devil and his work. Thank you very much. Have a good day and be blessed.
Shows us a different way of measuring success. Ours is to plant the seeds. God sees to the fruits of our labors. And if at times our efforts and works seem to fail and not produce fruit, we need to remember that we are followers of Jesus Christ, and His life humanly speaking, ended in failure. The failure of the cross.
Who's the biggest failure in the Bible? God is. What you say?
You know, everybody asks you, say, who's the biggest failure? They say, Judas. Somebody else will say, no, I believe it's Adam. Well, how about the devil? He's the most consistent failure.
Okay.
But he's not the biggest in terms of material failure and so forth. The biggest one in the whole Bible is God. Oh, what? Don't you turn that set off. You listen to what... I told you now, you sit still a minute. You know me well enough to know I wouldn't tell something that I can't prove in the Bible. He lost his top-ranking, most anointed angel, the first man he ever created, first woman he ever created, the whole earth, and all the fullness therein, a third of the angels at least. That's a big loss, man. I mean, you figure all that, that's a lot of real estate, brother. Gone down the drain. Now, the reason you don't think of God as a failure is He never said He's a failure. And you're not a failure till you say you won.